performance management mean to you?
Performance management is actually, aligning everything from the strategy right to the performance of the people. So you are aligning each and every person in the organization to the strategy. That's in a nutshell what performance management means. See, people generally think performance management is all about money and the bonus part. Yeah, it is a part of it, but the bigger part is aligning everything right from top to the bottom. So that's in a nutshell the performance management.
What is the relation between performance management and strategic planning?
Yes, again, as I already told you before, once you have the strategy, you have objectives and the key value drivers, which are the areas in which you need to excel. So you measure those. So measuring means there has to be an owner for that measurement. So you tie up everything in the performance management to those measures. That is one part of it. And again, as it cascades down, you have all the people aligned to that and they are measured against that. That is one part. And the other part is the how. How do you achieve your objectives? How do you excel yourself? So you have initiatives to that. And again, the initiatives will have broad initiatives with the milestones. So you have ownership of the milestone and you have the ownership of the initiatives as well. So all these things link up and you get a total alignment. So that is, the alignment between the strategy and the performance management.
How do you see the discipline of strategy and performance management in your country today?
Yeah, first of all, I'll talk about the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, where I come from as of now. Yeah, performance management is still in the early stages of development there. Many organizations have gone a long way in that. So they have tied up everything, the bonuses and all, especially to the performance of the individual. But having said that, how you tackle the performance management, it's again not just about measuring if the target is 100, if I achieve 100, is it what I get? So that, the treatment of that still needs fine-tuning in the country as a whole. So what I mean by that is, there are circumstances which will help you achieve or underperform your targets in the performance. So how well we take care of that, that is one part. And the second part is, how do you look at the initiatives or the initiative management from the performance point of view? That is also an area which can be improved upon. So that is, as of now, the state of affairs in performance management in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. However, having said that, I have worked quite a bit of my career, around 17 years in India. There I feel the performance management has evolved and it is at a very, very mature stage. So it's like everyday event, so performance management is a given. So I think that's the difference in the two countries which I have worked on.
What are the main challenges organizations face in developing strategy and managing performance?
Yeah, first of all, in strategy, again, I'll take the context of Saudi Arabia. Most of the organizations have evolved in an opportunistic manner. I see an opportunity there, okay, let's start a business there. I see opportunity in some other place, let's start a business there. So, in a strategy per se, the strategy was opportunistic. So now, after the second generation and the third generation of family owners have taken over, it is being tied up. The strategy is there. People now say no to certain things. They don't like, suppose somebody is into steel business, they don't directly go into, let's say, food or something. So our organization did that because there was an opportunity. Now we are looking at some other options for that. So we said that's not our core competency. So let's have a different look at that. So that is the state of affairs as far as strategy is concerned there again. And the challenge there is how you make the senior management say no to these things and the buy-in from the top. Top meaning especially when you have family-owned businesses, then the owners need to say that, okay, this strategy is okay for us as a family. Like even what tone which we have set in our organization is, like it used to be what is good for the family is good for the business. But now it is changed to what is good for the business is good for the family. So that's where the orientation has started already. So it has to start right from the top. The other tone which has changed it was like family-owned, family-managed business. Now it's no longer, you don't have the capabilities to manage this. So it's family-owned, best managed businesses. So that's where I fit in, people like us, we have been hired and they are doing our job there. So I think that is, those are the challenges I think many of the organizations face, the tone at the top. And in performance management, again, let's be very honest, in the region, most of the people till now working are expats. Okay, when you have an expat community, they generally don't tend to look at a longer stint, unlike other countries. Like, again, I can take example of only of India, where the stint of around 17, 18 years is normal in any organization. But here, beyond 3 years, you have been there for 3 years. So that is another challenge in the performance management. So if you bring anything on the long term, so that may help in the retention of the people and giving them a holistic long term view of the whole performance management. Yeah, so those are the challenges, I feel.
What advice would you give to practitioners working in this field for overcoming these challenges?
Number one, as I said, since it's the tone from the top, so the topmost person, whether he is the CEO, president, or the owner, he has to have the 100% buy-in. I would say it would be 110% buy-in that this is going to work. So he has to be educated at the top, and he should set the correct tone to everybody. The way he presents that these tools are being utilized in the organization, that makes or breaks the whole thing. So I think the tone at the top is absolutely necessary. So that is the number one advice. And you should have the right team on board. Right team meaning both with the capabilities of the team and also the right mindset. So many people don't want to change. So if you have people who don't want to change, then you give them the mandate, either you fall in or fall out. So it has to be very, very crystal clear and done. I think if we do these two things, then maybe we will be able to overcome. And this from my experience in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Which were the recent achievements in generating value from performance management in your organization?
Yeah, I can narrate a few. Until the time we had the performance management system, it was like, okay, I do whatever I want. Like we had competitions even within our SBUs because we operate in the same sphere, like water and power. So there were competitions within us. So after we brought in the performance management, again, going back to our initial discussion, performance management comes from strategy. So strategically, we have defined, okay, this is your box in which you operate, and now this is the box in which. So at least that inter-SBU competition we have eliminated thoroughly. Wherever, again, being opportunistic, people always said, if there is a commodity which I can sell very easily, I always try to do that. So which is not a good practice. So that is number one. The other one is the performance of the organization as a whole has gone up because there is a great deal of alignment. Alignment meaning, people know which initiatives to take now and against what I measured. So they are very, very focused. The 80-20 rule applies. So they are focusing on the 20% of their resources or their efforts to get the 80% of the result. So there is very, very high degree of focus. I think these are some of the, the top two, which if you say, the advantages of using the performance management system.
What would you recommend as an approach for building a performance-oriented culture?
Yeah, culture, as you all know, culture eats strategy for breakfast. So culture is very, very important. Again, I would strongly recommend it is right from the top. The tone that is being set at the top meaning not just the owner here or the president or the CEO and his direct reports who are the leadership team. The way they present everything, so that makes or breaks the culture. It's like if I'm very convinced, then I say, yeah, this will work and this is how we should do. If I'm not convinced, then I'll say, Arey, somebody has told you, so please do it. So there's a difference in communicating this. So communication plays a very vital role in building the culture. Right from the top, it needs to start. And communicate. There's nothing like over communication. So I think that is one part. The other part is the leadership, walking the talk. I say something, but I do something else. So that spoils the culture thoroughly. So I should walk the talk. So I think these are some of the advices or suggestions rather, not the advices which I can give. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.